Welcome to Day 6, How to Hire Wisely to Fill Strategic Skill Gaps. The Retail Solve Blueprint to teach you everything you need to know to confidently grow and scale your brand, build a connected community of loyal evangelists, and multiply your brand's impact, sales, and profits. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is Dan Lohman. I've had the privilege of mentoring and working with hundreds of brands from pre-revenue to multi-billion dollars in sales. This is a culmination of the best strategies that are working today. I've spent years testing and perfecting them to save you valuable time and money while giving you the edge that you deserve. If you haven't done so yet, download the free 30 Days to Prosperity workbook at retailsolve.com/30day workbook to help you get the most out of this brand building series. Go back and listen to all the episodes in the masterclass so that you don't miss anything. The strategies build upon each other in the order of the series. Please share these and help me raise the bar in natural. I want to take a moment to recap the last episode, how to develop strategic goals with accountability. In the last episode, we talked about the importance of having SMART goals. Goals that are not specific, reasonable, and hold you accountable are not going to help you reach your goals. They also need to be measurable. You want to use SMART goals. The reason this matters is that everything we're going to be talking about is how you set yourself up for success. And that includes a clear path and a clear strategy to move your brand from where you're at to where you want to be. And without having those clear goals and the accountability and the help that you need, you're going to struggle. These strategies are going to give you the edge that you deserve. When I went to college to learn about how to be an effective manager, those strategies effectively place a chokehold on the brand. They can stifle and crush their team spirit. I read a great book years ago called Theory Z. It empowers team members and encourages them to excel. It celebrates individual greatness, the spirit of innovation, and it creates high-performance teams that deliver incredible results. None of us can be an expert in everything, and we need help. We all have superpowers, things that we're the best at. You need to identify what they are and then fill those skill gaps. The challenge is that a lot of entrepreneurs think that they need to do everything, and that's not true. In fact, that could be detrimental to your business. You need to identify what are the things that you're really good at and then find other people to fill in those gaps, to give you the bandwidth to excel. For example, let's say that your superpower is that you come up with incredible products, innovative, disruptive products that are going to change a category, products that everyone wants. But let's say that you're not really good at the accounting or the bookkeeping and things like that. Then you need to find someone that can do that for you. One of the other things you need to be thinking about while you're developing these strategies, while you're thinking about, what's good, what you're good at and what you're not good at, is that when you're forced to do something that you don't like, then you begrudgingly take on that responsibility. And that stifles your creativity in other areas. One of the advantages of belonging to a connected community is that they have a lot of inspiration and you can find people that can help you fill those gaps. In fact, you can bounce ideas off other people to see what their challenges are and how they've overcome that. One of the things that's really great about being an entrepreneur is we all look at things as being an opportunity. We always look at the glass half full. What we need is to have people that we can surround ourselves with that can help us see all the obstacles and the bottlenecks in our way and help us more easily overcome them. Encourage your mentors and your advisors to identify key skill gaps and recommend talented professionals to elevate your capabilities. The real strength of an effective leader is measured by the people they surround themselves by and how they empower them to succeed. I'll give you an example from my past. When I was working with Spins, one of the challenges was they only sold data at the regional level. In other words, you could not see what was being sold at a retailer, let alone a store. The challenge is, if you're a brand, you need to have line of sight to what's going on shelf. Not having that effectively makes you blind to any promotions, out of stocks, issues like that. I was looking for a way to help Spins and brands and retailers understand why this matters and why this is important. At the time, I was working with a small independent retailer, and I was trying to get them to understand the value and the benefit of using data, and how by using that data, it would help them with their shelf assortments. It would help them with their promotional strategies. It would help them identify what products were selling and what products weren't selling, not only in the region where their stores were, but at this point, they could actually see what's going on in their store. This is critically important because if you don't have those insights, then like I said, you're blind to what's going on. You're blind to what's selling and what's not selling. You have to rely on other strategies. This is the Achilles heel of small natural retailers, is that you can't do everything on your own and you need that level of insights. So what I did is I developed what's now the distribution tracker that they sell. What I did was I was trying to identify and quantify the value of using the data. I identified how items were selling on the shelf. And using the 80-20 rule, I was able to identify which items were contributing to the growth of the category and which items weren't. I was also able to identify what it would mean to close those gaps, what it would mean to close the gaps of items that were underperforming. One of the reasons the items were underperforming is that they weren't sold in every store. Well, the backstory behind this is interesting. I was working with a retailer and they had a legacy brand, and the challenge was the legacy brand was promoted heavily during a specific couple of weeks. The problem was they didn't have distribution on that item in every single store. And so what happened is a lot of customers were complaining that they couldn't buy that particular product. So then what happened is they called their distributor and they got their distributor to send all the product they could to those stores. Now they had already missed out on a lot of sales because the customers couldn't buy their product. The promotion was coming close to ending, and so they didn't take full advantage of the promotion. In fact, it was a colossal failure, not only for the retailer, but for the brand as well. In addition to that, because they wiped out all the backstock at the distributor, then they didn't have any of the product available when that promotion went live at other retailers within the same market. The first thing I wanted to do is to demonstrate to the retailer the importance of having that item in distribution at every store. It was one of the top selling items. And that by having the product in distribution at every store, they would close significant gaps. That equated to a $2.7 million opportunity gap in that store, meaning missed sales. The other thing is I wanted to help them understand that they needed to have the right amount of product on the shelf and in the back room to support the promotion. So by helping the retailer understand how much product they need to have available, they would not have problems like they did this time. Instead, they could capture every single sale and they could delight their customers. The benefit was for them to take full advantage of this brand's promotion, for them to get a huge win, more customers in the store, and for the brand to do so well that the brand would promote even more. For additional inspiration, listen to Secrets 36, John Forwick of Once Upon a Farm and In His Homegrown. The importance of a compelling selling story to get your brand on store shelves. In this episode, John talks about how he never wants to be the smartest person in the room. John realizes that having the right people in place on his team, it allows his brand to tap into the genius of all the people around him and give them a significant competitive advantage. This is perhaps one of the best episodes on the podcast about why you need to surround yourself with the right people. Next, I recommend you listen to Secrets 212 with Gail Becker with Power. Lessons on challenging a giant and becoming a cherished brand. In this episode, Gail talks candidly about how she needed to surround herself with the best people. She realized early on that there were a lot of things that she didn't know about running a brand, a lot of things she didn't know about going to market and competing with the big brands. She needed to have the right people in place. And in this episode, you're going to hear her story. Not only was she able to bring in the right talent to compete in a very competitive category, but she was able to level the playing field and carve out a nice niche for herself. In addition to that, Gail offers some free samples, so you definitely want to take her up on it. You need to listen to the podcast episode to get the special code to get the free sample. You'll definitely want to listen to Secrets 212 and learn about how a brand was able to become a leader in such a competitive category. Next, I recommend you listen to Secrets 125 with Josh Wan with Force Brands and Brand Builder podcast. Building a solid team is a critical component to every brand success. In this episode, John shares a study that they had just completed about what employees are looking for when they go to work for a company and what employers need to do to attract the best talent. In this episode, you can get some key insights into what you have in place to attract the right team. Tip of the day. The real strength of an effective leader is measured by the people you surround themselves by and how they empower them to succeed on their behalf for the organization. I've recorded the video which has illustrations and information that I can't share in an audio podcast. You can watch the accompanying video on the podcast webpage, and you can get there by going to brandsecretsandstrategies.com/session 232. In tomorrow's show, we're going to talk about knowing the true cost of your products. This is a critically important episode because I find that when I work with a lot of brands, they have an idea what their products cost, but not specifically enough. You need to know exactly how much your product costs to put it in the bag and get it on the shelf. A component of this is when you're trying to promote your product, you need to know exactly how much it costs to promote it so that you can maximize the ROI from your promotions. In that episode, I'm going to be sharing a really cool tool that I made available for you for free that you'll definitely want to check out. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.